Hey guys, so I figured I'd help you enjoy the fall season a little bit more by giving you some creepy book suggestions that everyone should be reading. First of all, we have The Graveyard Book by Neil Gaiman. Now this is a really creepy book. Love it, read it actually a couple of times I think. The illustrations are pretty darn brilliant and creepy. And this is a story that really is sort of on a middle grade level as far as the reading, but as far as the content, probably a little bit higher up than that. So any adult or really anybody could enjoy this book. It's about a little boy who one night his family gets brutally murdered and he happens to wander out of his crib as a baby and will crawl into a graveyard, and who's there left to raise him except for the ghosts that live in the graveyard. It's really cool, really out of this world type book, but I love it. The next one is The Replacement by Brenda Jovanoff, and this book is one that I didn't expect to enjoy as much as I did, because usually when the cover is so cool, it's compensating for lack of story. Hate to say it, but that's generally the case. Not the case with this story. Really, really nice book and cover design. I'm gonna go ahead and read you the summary of this, because I can't even explain it in my own words. It's so good. Mackie is not one of us. Though he lives in a small town of Gentry, he comes from a world of tunnels and black murky water, a world of living dead girls ruled by a little tattooed princess. He's a replacement, left in the crib of a human baby 16 years ago. Now, because of fatal allergies to iron, blood, and concentrated ground, Mackie is slowly dying in the human world. Mackie would give anything to live among us. He just wants to play bass guitar and find out more about an oddly intriguing girl named Tate. But when Tate's baby sister goes missing, Mackie is drawn irrevocably into the underworld of Gentry, known as Mayhem. He must face the dark creatures of the slag heaps and find his rightful place in our world or theirs. That's a really cool book. You'll just have to read it to find out more. The next one is so good. This one is called Memory by Christophe Marzy. If you have never read a Christophe Marzy book, stop the video, go buy one and read it first. You need to. They're so good. Christophe Marzy is one of my all-time favorite authors, and this is a story about a girl who has lost her memory, but much more than that. This is a book about a ghost called Story. She's lost in a city, alone, afraid, and without her memory. Then she meets Jude, a boy who sees the dead. He's the only one who can help her remember. Such a good book. Tons and tons of mythology is wrapped around this story. It's set in a graveyard where they have awesome parties with ghosts and all sorts of nightly creatures. And read it. The cover doesn't even look like it'd be a scary horror type book, but it's just a fun one too. Definitely read it. The next one is one of my all-time favorite books called This Dark Endeavor by Kenneth Opel. Kenneth Opel is a brilliant author, but this series that he has written about the young days of Victor Frankenstein is one of the best that I've ever read. And currently there's This Dark Endeavor and Such Wicked Intent. You can get both of them, and I highly recommend that you do. And this prequel to Mary Shelley's Gothic classic, Frankenstein. 16-year-old Victor Frankenstein begins a dark journey that will change his life forever. Victor's twin Conrad has fallen ill and no doctor can cure him. Unwilling to give up on his brother, Victor enlists his beautiful cousin Elizabeth and his best friend Henry on a treacherous search for the ingredients to create the forbidden elixir of life. Impossible odds, dangerous alchemy, and a bitter love triangle threaten their quest at every turn. Victor knows he must not fail, but his success depends on how far he's willing to push the boundaries of nature, science, and love, and how much he's willing to sacrifice. And this is a really, really good book. I had never even read Frankenstein, but you don't have to enjoy this book. And the last one, but definitely not the least one, is A Monster Calls by Patrick Ness. This is one of my all-time favorite books too. It's not a very long book, easy to get through, probably middle grade level, and the illustrations are absolutely horrific. They're so good. The monster showed up after midnight, as they do, but it's not the monster Connor's been expecting. The one from the nightmare he's had nearly every night since his mother started her treatments. The one with the darkness and the wind and the screaming. This monster's something different, something ancient, something wild, and it wants the truth. As you can see, it's won a few awards, probably more than that by now, and rightly so. It's a really good book. If you would like to read some really cool, horrific, creepy, chilling books for this time of year, for the fall season, just to get you in the mood, I highly recommend those. You can check them all out at the link in the description. You can pick them all up, as I highly suggest that you do, because they're some of my favorite books, and they're definitely all rereadable. That's how good they are. That's all for now. I'll see you guys later. Oh, and try not to stay up all night reading these books. I know they're good, but they're also kind of creepy. So you might have a few nightmares. See you later.